that we have as it is. But the minister, in his own wisdom, he's saying that he's taking a facility audit of all of this whole correctional centers so that there can be decongestion. He feels that is the way to go. What say you to that?
Okay, well, I believe that it's a phasal thing for him, because if we cast our mind back to the first 100 days of this administration or the first 100 days of the ministers, there was something he did in this regard where he was able to raise, I believe, 550 million naira so to pay for the bill of, I think, well over 1,000 people.
Absolutely, yes.
Thereabouts. So
I believe, of them. Yeah.
Yes. So I believe this is part of that process that is still ongoing, and we must commend that particular initiative that he did in the first 100 days of being a minister. But that being said, it's a more systemic issue, and I'm hoping that this is just one of the processes in place to ensure that we decongest the prison facilities that we have, because I'm sure for him to have come about saying he wants to raise over 500 million naira to bail people out, then he understands that there are a lot more people still within the system that are there because they can't pay bail, that are there because of very little technicalities, why they're still there. So
some are not even meant to be there.
Some are not meant to be there in the first place.
Yeah.
So I believe that there's a more holistic approach, which we are hoping that they will be looking at, and we'll definitely be having a conversation about today. But looking at renovating the structures to ensure that there aren't at least prison breaks is also part of the process we need to look at, because for all intents and purposes, we out here, we also have to be kept safe from the ones that just want to break out before they're adequately released by the law. In
fact, it reminds me of one of the correctional centers that the walls actually collapsed as a result of rains. That was some months ago that happened. But Ziggy, the minister says that we don't throw solutions to unknown problems. We know the root cause of issues and we find solutions to them. When you look at this matter critically, at the root is an audit. What part of what we should be addressing?
Yes, I think it's the right step at the right direction. And look, we must begin to know why that facility is meant for those people. It is a way of trying to reorient them from their initial mindset to a better mind. Okay, and like the name depicts, it is a correctional facility, center, or services where when issues you had ab initio was not good for the society, when you get there, ideas, your mind will be changed that will be fit to reabsorb you into the society when you are done with your jail terms. And that will not deviate from the purposes for which that facility is meant for. If it is not made conducive for the inmates, you are inviting more troubles, because if it is a facility where they go to have a rethink, where they go to have a new mind, where they need to inculcate new ideas into their life, because that was the reason they came there, was because they were no longer fit for the society. Now they are brought in there to a kind of tutor them or correct their minds. So if it's not meant for that purposes, then the idea had failed ab initio. Okay? And you know, like he said, so many people who were there were not supposed to be there in the first place. So there's this holistic approach that will deeply look into errors that they were brought in, why they were brought in, okay? Because so many people we heard many times that they don't supposed to be there. The offenses they committed are not fit for their being there. So I think the judiciary, all the arms of government that are linked to taking people into these correctional centers should actually work harder to know why they should not be there, to know why they should be there, and because there are issues, there are little mistakes that don't supposed to attract anyone to that place. But when you lock up everyone into the place, we are looking for more troubles. And the congestion is another issue. That place is overpopulated. So many of the facilities we have are no longer fit to accommodate the numbers of inmates. Hence, we're having jailbreaks everywhere. Okay? So, and, you know, I've heard so many people who talk about, look, I prefer going to jail in US. You know, do you understand the logic? Yeah. The logic is that when you are there, in fact, your mind will be reset.
You'll be productive.
Yes, you'll be productive. And you know, when you get to certain places, people even graduate, they attend schools.
Yeah,
opportunities are given to them.
There are some NGOs who run that here.
Exactly. Opportunities are given to them. Artisans. In fact, so many inmates, when they are out, they become very professional and skilled, very artful in so many areas. Okay? And that is the conducive nature of how the place is supposed to be. If it's not conducive, where people are going to learn some of these handworks, artisanship, and all that, then you are creating more trouble than you are solving it.
Absolutely. Like I was mentioning earlier, some NGOs actually take up this responsibility of going to the prisons to educate those who are there, teach them. In fact, some of them write exams.
Yes.
As they are there.
I learned in some countries that you can gain admission and they offer off-campus services to inmates, such that when you are out, you could become a graduate from your choosing a career or choosing,
and then you get a job.
Yeah, you could get a job because at your coming out, you will be reintegrated into the society. That means you are very now fit to become a participant in that society. And the idea is that because it's a correctional center, you get there to actually reset your mind and reorientate you into the best way the society could accept you.
Absolutely. We'll get back to this matter of reintegration because that's also a major concern.
Yes.
Where some persons do not get jobs. You see some forms, they'll ask you, have you gone to prison before, and all of those things.
Exactly.
So some form of making some persons not feel good about themselves and all of that. But let's get back to this matter of the congestion. There are those who said, like we rightly pointed earlier on, that there are some persons who are not supposed to be there. This matter of arrest and remand, we see that some people just, some police officer arrest some persons, detain them beyond 24 hours. That is meant to be the constitutional time. And they are there for as long as possible until perhaps help comes for them as it is. And there are those also saying this matter, we need to look at it critically, the blatant abuse of this matter of arrest and remand where we are not adhering to the laws as it is.
Well, it goes back to there being consequences for these types of actions. Because the question is, folks that were arrested and were kept beyond the time they were supposed to be there legally, who were the people that effected the arrests? Why were they there for that long? What are the consequences for the persons in charge or that made sure that that person was there beyond the time they were supposed to be there? So have we ever heard or come across any time where there's been consequences for such actions? Personally, I haven't heard of it. I haven't seen one. So until we are able to take it from that particular level itself, going into the correctional facilities themselves is going to be a bit of a challenge, because in some cases you go to some police stations and then you find that some folks have been there for more than 24 hours or more than the time they ought to be there for very frivolous reasons. So until we're able to address it from that particular phase, saying that you are arrested and detained for more than 24 hours, some people get charged to court straight from there. They've not spoken to anybody. There's no bail option. There's no nothing. And you see a lot of people, they get to court and they're very confused and they're wondering what's going on. Why am I here? And the next thing you know, they're sentenced and you're thrown somewhere. And they are there every day. You have different NGOs go there. You have different organizations go there, and they keep telling people that they don't know why they're there. They shouldn't be here for these reasons. So we need to also add to the audit that is being done, the entire process So it shouldn't just be an infrastructural audit. It should be the audit of the entire process. What would lead someone to be in those facilities? Because now we're talking about the congestion. Yeah. So are we then looking to have more people in there first before we're talking about having the ones that are there to be out? So we need to also address the entire process from point A to point D. From the point of arrest, what is going on, to where they get charged to court, to where they get sentenced, to where they get in there. What are the things, are there things that we need to address in our laws? Is it a legal issue? Is it a legal issue, or or there are issues of abuse, there are systemic challenges? These are things that should be included in the audit and shouldn't just be an infrastructural audit. The audits that would make all of this to be more effective and to achieve the objective of actually decongesting these facilities is to audit the entire process itself and not just saying we're renovating facilities and all of that. So we're hoping that they're auditing the processes